Welcome back. And relations between Egypt and Russia have developed into a multifaceted strategic partnership. Historical cooperation, geopolitical interests, economic pragmatism and military coordination. Details in the coming report.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi received Nikolai Patrushev, assistant to the President of the Russian Federation and Chairman of the Russian Maritime Council, in a meeting that underscored the depth of the strategic partnership between Egypt and Russia. During the meeting, President el-Sisi expressed Egypt's appreciation for its long-standing and strategic relations with the Russian Federation, affirming the importance Cairo attaches to expanding bilateral cooperation across the various fields. The head of state also conveyed his deep appreciation for Russian President Vladimir Putin, highlighting the strong ties and mutual understanding that characterize relations between the two countries. Discussions touched on ways to further strengthen cooperation in areas of mutual interest, notably in light of the regional and international developments, as both sides reaffirmed their commitment to continued coordination and consultation on issues serving the interests of the two nations. The meeting reflected the enduring momentum in Egyptian-Russian relations and the shared desire to advance cooperation to broader horizons in line with the strategic partnership linking Cairo and Moscow.
And to shed more light on the Egyptian-Russian relations and its development, we are joined over the phone by Dr. Fouad, Razek, Professor of Mass Communications. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Thanks for having me.
Dr. Fouad, what is the significance of the visit by the Russian President Assistant or Aide Nikolai Patrushev to Egypt yesterday and his meeting with President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi?
This is a very important visit in the light of the circumstances and the events in the area. Let me start by saying that there are two elements that control Egypt's strategy in the whole world, which are the balancing act overall by Egypt and diversification. Regarding Egypt and Russia, of course, they converge around the idea of a more balanced regional order based on state sovereignty, non-interference and political settlements rather than prolonged confrontation. So both countries also see stability in the Middle East, Africa and the Mediterranean as directly linked to security, energy routes, maritime navigation, and counter-terrorism. Such a visit would enhance all these elements and is also a common vision for both countries, as clearly done by President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and his counterpart, actually, who is President Putin.
Also, sir, the Russian industrial area in the Suez Canal economic zone topped the agenda of the talks. How do you see the importance of this industrial area in the Suez Canal?
This is very strategic, and of course, it is something that Egypt is keen to keep as strong and as stable as possible with the help of Russia in the first place. Let's say that Egypt does not see its relationship with Russia as a substitute for other partnerships, but as a part of a wider policy of, as I said before, diversification. And Cairo seeks strong relations with the United States, Europe, China, Russia, and regional partners in order to protect its national interests and avoid dependence on one single international force. So this area comes as a very strategic area that needs to be enhanced, it needs to be kept safe all the time, away from the polarization in one way or another.
Also, sir, the President tackled the issue of the Daba nuclear plant and cooperation with Russia in this field. How do you see the importance of this plant in producing energy?
The Daba project is a huge one, and Egypt is keen to make it as perfect as possible with the help of Russia, because Russia's experience in this area is very important, and Egypt rely on this idea of keeping strong relations, especially in that field of such nuclear projects. And this is why we can see, for example, joint exercises and help improve readiness, exchange expertise, and send a message that Egypt is capable of cooperating with different international players. And this as well, reflect Egypt's growing role as a regional security actor, particularly in the Mediterranean, Red Sea, and African theater. This is why, of course, all this is for peaceful purposes and nothing to do with any aggressive intentions or anything of that sort. And that is the way people should look at projects like Daba one.
So, sir, how can we attract more Russian investors in the coming period, and what kind of investments they are interested in?
Investment is always there, and this should be enhanced by such, mutual visits, by certain people in the economy sector, investment sector, to enhance this relationship, which fortunately is very strong relationship. And Moscow as well looks at Egypt as Central Arab, African, and Mediterranean power to be reckoned with, and strong ties with Cairo give Russia a credible channel for engagement in the region and support its wider presence in Africa and the Middle East, especially in diplomacy, energy, transport, maritime cooperation, and security. And these elements should be kept alive all the time. And Egypt here plays a major role in enhancing such relationship with Russia, being one of the super powers in the world.
So, sir, also, what role does coordination between Cairo and Moscow play in addressing regional crises such as Libya, Syria, Sudan, and the Palestinian issue, and of course the war in Iran, the importance of coordination between the two countries?
Yes, coordination between Egypt and Russia is important because both countries are involved directly or indirectly in files such as Libya, Syria, Sudan, and the Palestinian issue. Yes. Cairo's approach is based on preserving state institutions, preventing fragmentation, rejecting terrorism, and supporting political solutions. And as I said before, this is what I meant when I say the balancing act by Egypt, because it's a very volatile area, very hot issues that needs the wisdom of Egypt and its presidents, which so far are showing great patience and tactfulness in dealing with such issues.
So, sir, also, if we talk about the situation in Iran in particular and the war, how do you see the importance of diplomatic consultations with the two countries to end this war?
Egypt, from the very beginning of this crisis, is playing a major role, though not very prominent on the world stage, but its role is very significant alongside with Turkey, as we said in the first round of negotiations. Before this third round of negotiation, paved the way. And now people are coming back again to Egypt to play such a role in the light of the endless effort by Pakistan, but not leading actually to the required results as should be and should be seen as well by Egypt in that sense. So there is a role to be played here by Egypt again, which is there all the time, And this crisis actually is affecting the whole world. So any interference in that sense is significant. And now even we saw that the foreign ministry, the Iranian foreign minister Razek, went to Moscow as well to seek advice and asking Moscow to help mediate and so as not to escalate the situation into war. And this is what Egypt actually is trying to do, avoidance of escalation. And as well, there is an economic crisis that should be looked at. It's affecting the whole world. So Iran needs somebody to tell.
Yes,
of course, Iran knows that, to tell that the end the game is now here is negotiations and not the road to more wars.
I'd like to thank you, Dr. Fouad Razek, Professor of Mass Communications. Thank you, Dr. Fouad, with being with us. And the viewers, short break, and we'll be back with the top stories, so stay tuned.